Blog Talk Radio.
Show a little while ago. I listened to Amy's first show, and I was louder in the introduction, and then I guess I toned it down. But I don't have to tone it down, and I didn't today. Recruiting Animal here on July 11th, July 1, 2018. And I want to start the show off today by telling you about a scandal that's going on here in Canada. It's called Gropegate. Gropegate. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, pretty boy, he comes across as being a very decent guy, and he's taken a very strong stand on women's rights. But in the last few weeks, an editorial that was written in the year 2000, 18 years ago, in a small-town newspaper in British Columbia, it came to light. And in it, a reporter, a woman, says that at a music festival back then, Trudeau groped her. And yesterday I read in the Toronto Star that she said he touched her briefly on, quote, her rear end. He touched her on the, maybe he gave her a pat, I don't know. But she complained then and there. She told him she didn't like it, and he apologized right on the spot. Here's what he said. He said if he had known that she was also representing a national newspaper chain and not just some dinky little local paper, he wouldn't have been so forward, okay? I think it was a joke. Nobody said so, though, but I think it was a joke. I don't think he took it too seriously. But she told her publisher and her what, pardon me, Jerry? She told her publisher about it, and she told her editor about it, and they believed her. And now he's confronted with the story, okay? So what happened? Trudeau first said he didn't remember it. Then he said that men and women tend to see things differently, right? But before this story came out, he said that in any case of sexual harassment, you always have to believe the woman. Right? So I don't think anybody believes him. Everybody believes her version of the story, and no one thinks that it's a really serious issue, but no one likes his attempt to cover up. It turns him into not just a liar, but a hypocrite. You know, and I think the same thing would be true if you did a reference check on a great candidate, and if it came out that once, 18 years ago, he briefly patted a woman on her rear end. I don't think it would be a deal breaker, but if you asked him about it and he seemed to be lying, that might turn you, the recruiter, against him. I don't know what anyone else is going to think. It's a hot potato topic, but if they have an opinion, they're free to speak up on Jerry, what show is this? Jerry. What are you fooling around with me? What show is it?
Can you hear me?
No.
Animal.
Thanks for screwing it up, Jerry. Thanks for screwing it up.
Screwing it up? Dude,
this is a professional show now, okay?
It can't be more than one or two. What are you doing?
You didn't say, I said, Jerry, I asked you before the show. You're going to do it? Dude. Going to do it live? Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it live. I'm going to do it live.
I'm not here to be your punching bag anymore. Dude,
hey, everybody.
Knock it off.
Jerry,
I did what I was supposed to do.
I just want everyone to know. Jerry sent me a bill just before the show for $1 million on PayPal.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and I clicked it the wrong way, and PayPal said, "Oh, you don't have enough money to cover this," and I had to figure out how to get rid of it. $1 million,
don't try to tell me you're good for it.
$1 million, and you can't even shout when it's your time. Thank you. And I want to thank my sponsors as well. Martin Snyder from PC Recruiter, the recruiting the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software.
This is a bad show.
Okay, get out of here. I don't care anymore, okay?
It's just, you start off talking about the Canadian Weinstein, which we hadn't even heard about down here, but that's atrocious. Everything he has a history of being a sexual
I don't want to put
predator.
you on the hot seat. I don't want to put you on the hot spot, so you don't have to say anything. If you had a candidate and you found out that 20 years ago he touched someone's rear end, would you rule him out? You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer.
I think you would legally have to now, don't you? I don't know.
20 years ago.
20, 40, 100, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Amy, do you want to get in on this? I'm wasting all kinds of time. Amy, do you want to?
I'm kind of scared of what people are going to find out that I did 18 years ago. Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean, what was he, like 17? He's an infant.
No, he was 20.
We already know.
Young.
He was
I don't
28.
know. He was 28 back then?
Amy. Yeah, he's the same age as, he's not a kid. He's a prime minister. He's
28 now.
Well, you know.
Yeah, he looks like it.
I don't know. A music festival, gosh. I'm torn on
not
this.
only a music festival. It was a music festival.
Weren't around when I was in college.
Sorry, who's talking there? Somebody saying, Michael G. Cox? Who is that?
Yeah, I was just saying I'm so thankful that cell phones weren't around when I was in college.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's that might get you fired in this context. I don't know what you're confessing to, okay? Anyway, I'll move on with the show. Amy Miller. She's a corporate tech recruiter. She bakes fancy cakes for money on the side. And I guess they don't pay her enough where she's working. Okay. I even saw, and these are fancy. I mean, she'll bake a cake and she'll put your football jersey and football on top of it and cover it in icing. Okay. People want it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us what
anyway,
you love. We'll make it edible.
Okay. She is a very confident person. She claims that I quoted her wrong when I said that she claimed she could beat Watson, that computer over at IBM. But she said
That's
she
a
was.
strong
I
claim,
definitely
Amy.
know. She was willing.
Gosh.
She said she was willing to go up against Watson. Okay.
Oh.
Now that's bull.
Well, what's the game? I mean, if we're playing chess, I'm not going to win, but I could probably whoop his ass in cake making.
Well, what about sourcing?
Can I use Hire Tool?
You're going to do the ad for Hire Tool today. Just let me finish, okay? Ala Recruiter.
Okay.
For some reason, she hasn't changed her Twitter name. ALA Recruiter. It's pretty good, nice and short. Anyway, Amy, do you make a low carb cake? Type 2 diabetes is very popular these days.
Heck no gluten free. I mean, we are the butter sugar kingdom around here. We love all that fat stuff.
Okay, you said you love this tweet. I'm just going to get right into it now. You said, and
Let's do it.
I think it's from People Shark. A recruiter isn't curious. A recruiter who isn't curious is an admin. A recruiter who isn't curious is an admin. You say, "Ooh, I love that." Do you think admins are stupid or dull? Yeah.
No, I think they're not curious.
Really?
I don't think not being curious in a recruiting context equals stupidity. I think a lot of stupid people are very curious. I mean, you're asking questions. Just kidding.
Okay, you laughed at this on Twitter. The recruiter says
I think when you think about the context that we're talking about, if you're in a recruiting position, your job is to bridge the gap between candidates and companies. If you're not curious in that context, you're probably just shuffling resumes around and doing paperwork.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know anyone who's not curious. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, then, the barrier to recruiting entry is low, so let's all do it.
Yeah, okay, right. Okay, you laughed at this on Twitter. The recruiter says to the candidate, when's the best time for me to give you a call? The candidate, who's a developer, says sometime around 1996 when phone calls were considered normal. You think that's funny. I don't.
I don't. That's funny.
That is funny.
I love a developer with a sense of humor.
Okay. You also said that you won the high jump when you were in 4th grade. There was a clip of you giving a talk, right? What were you talking about?
Yes.
That you were talking about high jumps.
We were talking about, it was a blog that I had written, a post I had written a few years ago, and it was about, I think it was when, I don't even remember the company, but somebody was taking away salary negotiations because they were trying to level the playing field for women. And that bothered me. And I remember being, this tiny, short, little, miniature fourth grader. If they had lowered the bar, I mean the literal bar, the high jump bar, it wouldn't have been a big deal. It's the one athletic thing I've ever won in my entire life, and I'm 44 now. And I still have some weird sense of pride in that. But I had to work for it. I had to jump the same bar that everyone else around me, and even the big kids and the tall kids and the athletic kids had to jump. If you'd lowered it just so I could make it over, what kind of an accomplishment is that?
Hi, I'm Jeremy Ames, your host of Signals, a Starbold Studios production. I'm taking bold ideas and real challenges submitted by leaders like you and turning them into powerful conversation with actionable results. Some weeks, I'll react in just 4 minutes. Others, I'll bring on experts for deeper dives. So send up a signal, and I'll throw you a line.
Okay, so are you saying that you don't agree with these laws, that you're not allowed to ask candidates how much money they're earning? Is that what you're saying indirectly?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I'm really proud of myself for winning the high jump. But if you want to talk about
I couldn't care what you did when you were, 8 years old. Okay, I thought it might have some relevance.
That's what we're talking about. But no, as far as the laws, we have a kind of a best practice, if you will, that we don't ask about current compensation. I don't care about current compensation. The only time current compensation is an issue is if I'm for some reason somehow we've come in below your current comp, because who wants to take a cut in pay? So I am far more interested in, really the number I care about is, what is your yes number? What's it going to take for you to join this team? And then if that number is crazy, let's talk about how you got there. Are you being realistic? Maybe, maybe not. We can talk about it. But I don't see
give me an example. Give me an example. Are you just feeding us, standard lines, or do you actually get people in there who are good candidates, but they overrate themselves, and you have to talk them down?
Are you kidding? Well, I
want a story. Give me a story. Give me
a story about somebody who was overinflated?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will not use any names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble or upset with me.
No. It's better if it's not recent. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, let me go back in my memory banks. 18 years ago, I was at a musical festival with Justin Trudeau. No, okay. So this has been a couple of years, but this was when data science, machine learning, all those fancy buzzwords really started getting very difficult, hard to find, hard to woo. And I had a very junior candidate who had, maybe a couple years of actual industry experience, decent school, no patents, no PhD. I mean, he was good, but he didn't have the same depth of experience and education as other candidates. It's fine. We're still going to hire him. We still like him. We still think he's great for the team, but he's not going to command the same level, the same package that a 10-year PhD would. He wanted the 10-year PhD package. And I said, help me understand how you got there. And he said, well, I think, I feel, my friends make. It was all just about his emotion around it, and articles he read about data science being the emerging new technology. It had absolutely nothing to do with his actual pedigree, his experience, certainly nothing to do with his current comp, which we didn't even get into. But he was coming from this place of, well, I think that I should have this, with no real data to back it up.
So how did you talk to him? Did you say, look, you little punk, you ignoramus, where are you coming up with this figure? Or, did you coddle him
because
he was
there.
Young?
It's exactly what I said. And I grabbed him by the collar, slapped him a little. No.
Yeah.
I just said, I understand this is an emotional decision for you. This is your first time job searching out of school. You kind of got picked up right away by a large company as a university grad. And so I get it. This is your first rodeo, so let me help you. Let me tell you the kinds of questions that I'm going to get asked. Let me tell you about the discussion with my compensation team and the things that they want to know that are going to justify the package that we put together. How do you answer these things? And he's like, oh, wow, I can't. I don't have that. Okay, so let's talk about how we can get you there. So this is your goal. This is what you think you want. Realistically, you're 5 to 7 years away from that. So what can you do right now, and what can you do in the next 5 years to make sure that when you're ready for that level, you're doing the work now to be qualified for it?
Wait. I don't understand why you got into the money talk before you'd even discuss the requirements for the job. How did that happen?
We'd already interviewed him. We were already at that point.
And then you had to go over everything again? Is that
we
what
go
happened?
deeper at that point, yes.
Dude, this was 18 years ago at a concert in the haze of a drug-filled room. How's she supposed to remember the exact conversation?
This was 2 years ago.
The music was loud and everybody was popping and grinding. I mean, come on.
You've got sexual pictures in your mind, Jerry. They're confusing you. This was 2 years ago.
You started it.
Yeah. How often does something like this happen? It sounds like you had to go back. It's a rare occurrence. It sounds like maybe 1% of the candidates inflate their demands.
I don't get a ton of candidates that are so far away like this particular instance, but I definitely every day have candidates who have 2, 3, 4 offers, including mine. I have not made an offer.
Did this punk have another offer?
Yes. He had one other
really?
one. And
which one did he end up taking?
Because he took ours.
Okay, you know what? Whoever said something, I'll get to you in a second. But would you want it? This guy, was he arrogant or just naive? I mean, because if he was arrogant, would you want someone like that on your team? What was his personality?
I had that discussion with the hiring manager. I would say 75% naive, 25% arrogant. I think the arrogance, and we talked about that. The hiring manager and I discussed it, and I said, when you think about how this person's going to impact your team, this is a personality that's joining your organization. Who else is on your team? How are they going to react to this? What are the pitfalls? Do you feel like you can coach him? Do you feel like? And he actually had, I think, 2 or 3 additional conversations. They met for coffee. I think they had lunch with the larger team. So he also, even after we've decided we want to make an offer, he still kind of continued to probe that and say, okay, what is this kid going to be like once he's on my team and I'm leading him and mentoring him? So yes, we talked a lot about that.
Okay, who was that? Alan? Who else was saying that I'm foolish to say it's only once in a while? Who was that?
Me, Alan.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm fighting multiple. There's no shot. I'm fighting multiple offers all the time nowadays.
No, we're talking about people who have inflated ideas of what they deserve.
All the time. Right, especially right now.
Multiple offers feed that.
Yeah.
When you have somebody with multiple offers, they think that they can start pitching us against each other. And, so-and-so said, give me this, and so-and-so said that, and how are you going to beat it? It's not always about beating it on the numbers.
Animal, are you in business right now?
No,
are you
Jerry.
in the economy in any way?
You know what?
Jerry, it's really simple.
No, wait a second. I'm going to address Jerry. If you're a headhunter, you don't come up with multiple offers because you're calling people who aren't looking for jobs.
God, when was the last time you did a search? When was the last time you did a search?
Let Alan finish off. Do you have an example you want to give us?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Hey, Amy, we're dealing with a recruiter here from Canada who only works with passive candidates, who only puts offers for candidates he knows will accept on the spot. Zero.
And they never turn down his offer, right? He doesn't even make an offer unless they say yes.
So, Amy,
let one at a time. Come on. Alan give his story, okay?
Here's my theory, and I want Amy's opinion on this. No commercials. Okay. So let's say that you go out and you find a passive candidate. Okay, fine. And that's the goal. Here's what happens. A person is passive until we start talking to them, and then they have an expiration date of being passive because they're like, hey, wait a minute. Amy called me. Microsoft called me. Hey, I think I'm going to take some of these other calls. I think I'm going to start looking around. And depending upon how long the process takes, you've just gone from being the sole opportunity for that person to all of a sudden now they got 1, 2, 3, 4 other opportunities. And if they're talking with the 95% of people in our industry that are idiots, then and not the 5% that are on this call. They're listening to the, oh, yeah, dude, I can get you 20% more. I can get you this. I can get you that. And also we're fighting with that, trying to explain it to them. Amy, your take.
Yeah, the passive candidate is that term makes me cringe. And I know it's just part of our vernacular and we use it all the time. Passive prospect maybe. Mm-hmm. But once you've activated them, once you've said, hey, there might be something better than what you're doing, if there's anything engineers, data scientists, those kinds of guys love, it's data. And guess what? I am one data point. They're not going to make a decision with one data point. They want to see, well, what's Facebook up to, or what's Google up to, or what's Amazon up to. And if I'm going to see what Microsoft is up to, I might want to see what these other people are up to because I need to gather tons and tons and tons of data to make a decision.
Okay. Anybody else want to? We're going to move on. Anybody else got to say something about that?
Animal, I want to hear your opinion on this stuff because you're the one that said
I told you my opinion. I told you my opinion. You might lose out on the money, but it's not because there's tons and tons of offers coming in. I don't work in IT. I don't work in IT. You know,
maybe are you recruiting lumberjacks or coal miners? Who are you recruiting that don't have multiple offers, man?
I would like to know too.
I'd like to know what sector you work in.
Industry doesn't have multiple offers.
Because I want to get in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, get out of your current
business.
Jerry's
looking for a change.
Yeah,
I'm
Jerry
needs to change. You're working in an entirely passive recruiting community where if you get one offer for your blinders candidate, he's going to take it, not even look around, not even consider other options. What secret gold mine is this? You can email me if you'd like instead of telling the whole world.
Yeah, all I can remember, Jerry, is that you didn't know how to do the shout at the beginning of the show. That's all I'm going to be thinking about today. Whenever you open your mouth, okay? Okay. Amy,
yes.
You're doing the. You know what? I was listening to you. I'm going to talk to you in a few minutes about you did a webinar on the HR tech stack. I didn't know you were an expert in that, but the first thing I heard you talk about was a product I introduced you to on my Facebook group and who's a sponsor of this show, Hire Tool. You're going to do the ad for Hire Tool today, and I'm not going to pay you for it. And do you want to do it now or later?
Let's do it. Can I just kind of free flow and talk about my love for Hire Tool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that an ad? It's a pitch. So I was super fortunate, got a chance to do a demo with Hire Tool, and it saved hours and hours of sourcing time. So I'm in a position, I'm very lucky, I have dedicated sourcing teams that work with me and my clients, but I do still have to pick up some extra slack, and I still have to do my own stuff. Hire Tool literally saved hours. I primarily use the AI sourcing function. It was phenomenal. If you have not tried it, try it. It will change your life. I'm still pushing to get us to potentially invest in it. So that's a conversation that's still happening. Big company, takes a while. But I mean, I'm at a point now I'm ready to pay for it myself out of pocket. It's that good.
You know what? If I didn't know that, if you invest in them, I'm going to raise their fee on this show, okay? I'm going to spell it HIRETUAL.com. Thank you. And you know what, people? There's a free Chrome extension. You don't have to have deep pockets to try it out, okay? Go there.
Animal.
Amy Miller, back to you. You told Masha Cannon that winning candidates, like good candidates, can actually say dumb things in an interview that blows it for them. And you try to coach people just like you tried to coach that dummy, that young punk. I won't say dummy. You hired him, okay? But
he
that kid,
young.
You tried to coach him, right? But you told a story about someone else you tried to coach, and he said, I don't need any coaching. I'm going into the interview, and I can do it all myself, okay? And he struck out. Is that true?
Oh, it's so true. And that was a $30,000 fee. This is back in my agency days. I mean, that still stinks.
Okay.
Oh, my God. That is a punch in the gut. Man,
yeah, but was that guy higher
rough.
then, or was he, did he have the skills and the qualifications to do the job?
Yeah, so we were looking for a CFO for a solar company. The investor, the person who was launching this solar startup, this is I don't know 12, 13 years ago or something. He was looking for a CFO, someone that could take over kind of the day-to-day, and he was going to step back because he's more of a VC guy. He specifically asked for someone out of public utilities. He had, I don't remember the specific reasons, but he had very clear reasons why he wanted this particular kind of person. And he's like, I will teach them, I'll kind of get them up to speed and help manage the more startup-y, not government, political, public utility piece. So I find this great candidate who'd been, chief muckety-muck of some energy company, was explaining this to him and was kind of telling him, look, I want you to be cautious of talking about what you don't know, because we know that. We get there's a gap here, but we're hiring you potentially because of these strengths and da-da-da-da-da. And he stops me and he says, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit because it's been a long time, but he said something to the effect of, Amy, no offense, but I've been doing this since you were in diapers. I got this. I know what I'm doing. And I said, okay, carry on. And he blew it. So when we did the debrief with our client, he said, this guy's great. He's got the exact right background I was looking for, but I'm really concerned because he kept focusing on what he doesn't have, the startup experience, the solar experience. He kept coming back to the pieces that he thought were missing, and we already knew that. We weren't worried about that, but the fact that he kept talking about it, I can't move forward with this guy.
Okay, so hold on. Let me ask you something. Again, is this a one-off, case or, 1 in a million case, or do a lot of candidates need the recruiter to coach them before they see a hiring manager or an interview committee?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's different levels of coaching. Not everyone needs a full-on, hour debrief before they go in. Maybe it's just a few minutes. Maybe it's just sanity checking, where their head's at. But yeah, I would, as a candidate, if I were myself on the market or looking at opportunities, I would be asking my recruiter, what do I need to know? What are landmines I could avoid? What should I talk about, not talk about? Why would I walk into a situation with a brand new group of people that I don't know at a company I've never been and assume that I have all the answers?
Okay, who else was that? Alan again? With the yes, the deep yes? Who was that?
Yes. Yeah,
you want to say something? Do you have an example? You're saying that most candidates need coaching before they go into an interview. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Smart ones ask for it.
Smart ones ask for it, and like she says, it depends on the level, but every candidate, ideally, every candidate needs to be prepped. Only because if for the only reason that this is a people business, and if you're walking in, I talk too much. I know that. I tell people, don't do this. Here's who you're meeting with. Here's who they are. Don't talk about football. Talk about soccer. Here's your examples. Here's this. They're going to do this. Have this. It's more the coaching of the nuances for the more experienced people. For the more junior people, it's don't make a comment about the people at your current company are too old, because you're going to come in here and you're going to look like an idiot. It's various, but every candidate, ideally, good ones ask for it, and good ones appreciate it.
Okay, Tyron, Giuliani, who made a ton of money in Tokyo as a recruiter, he gave hours, like very senior jobs, he would give hours of coaching for his candidates. Okay. But I always figure that most of them, they know a lot more than me about their positions, so how much can I tell them, right?
We're not talking about the position. I'm not coaching somebody on how to write code. I'm coaching someone on how to communicate with a hiring manager that I work closely with every day. If you set up your friend with your neighbor, you're playing a little romance matchmaker, aren't you going to be like, hey, he really likes, Seattle Seahawks and he hates soccer or whatever. You kind of give some insight and say, this is this person's personality. This is the things that keep this person up at night in a professional manner. This is the struggles that the team is having. We're hoping you can solve these problems. You're going to give some insight into what you're getting into and how to position yourself.
Can you give honest insight into a manager's personality? I mean,
yes.
You give honest.
Why would you not?
I got a great one for you, Animal.
It might not be flattering, and it might come out. Okay?
No.
It might become public.
Hold on. Here's the best story I have.
Give me an example of bad feedback that I would like. Oh, this guy touched somebody's butt 18 years ago at a music festival.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
Go ahead. Al's got all the answers. Go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
It's not all the answers. It's not all the answers. It's an experience. So here it goes. Amy's the hiring manager, senior level trainer position. Amy has lost 3 candidates. coached the next candidate in, and I said, here's the deal. You already know how to do the job. Here's 3 things you need to do. If and when it comes up in the conversation appropriate. Number 1, ask for a tour of the factory. She'll give it to you anyway, but ask for it. Number 2, when you're looking around, if you're in her office, look around. Make a comment about the pictures of her and her dog. She loves her dog. Number 3, if appropriate, at any time, comments about a vacation, make a comment that you've been thinking about taking a cruise. She just took her first cruise, and now she's in love with cruising. When I had to do a debrief with 5 people on that interview cycle for this one. Hiring manager called up and said, Alan, I don't need to do the debrief. Hire her now. And it was all because of those 3 items. Nothing to do with the job.
Okay, well, I'm thinking more like, this guy's kind of vain. Take a look at his trophies there and comment on them. Well, you know what? The recruiter told me you're on the vain side. So your recruiter told me you're kind of vain. So the recruiter told me you tend to ramble and I shouldn't interrupt. That's why I'm so quiet, okay? Anyway.
And that happens.
I mean, okay, let me put it this way, Animal. If that conversation ever happened, God forbid, but the hiring manager already knows because I probably coached him ahead of time and said, hey, you're a little bit of a rambler in interviews. Try to let the candidate get a word in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Okay, you told Mesha, okay, I did my research, and I want you to elaborate on it here, that you inevitably have onboarding issues or cold feet issues. Inevitably?
Sure.
Isn't that an overstatement?
Of course. I'm the queen of overstatements and hyperbole. Are you new?
Okay, so
yes,
but how often?
But we do. It doesn't happen with every single candidate, but it does happen often enough that we need to be prepared for it. We need to try to get ahead of it. So once the paperwork's signed, there's often a lengthy gap between when someone signs their offer and when they actually onboard. We deal with a lot of work authorization dependent candidates. 3 months. Could be 3 months. Could be 6 months.
Why?
A lot of times it's work authorization. We're dealing with visa transfers, relocation from even other countries in some cases. So that can make it, 4 to 6 months. So there's a lot of life that's happening in that time. And so we want to make sure they're staying as excited. We want to make sure our managers, our hiring teams, the people that these guys are going to work with are staying in touch. Because, again, during those 4 months, okay, we've made this commitment. I'm going to pack up and leave Toronto, and I'm going to come to Seattle. I'm still getting those phone calls. I'm still getting those pings from competitors.
What phone calls? What do they say? What does the hiring manager say? What's going on? I don't like generalities. I don't understand them, okay? Jerry's right. I'm clueless. Fill me in. What happened?
During that 4-month period, what is the manager doing to keep their new hire engaged? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Calling in and checking on them. How's things going? Are you excited?
How are you today? What do you have for lunch?
How are you? Hey, this is a cool new thing we just launched. Check out this latest blog that we wrote about our product that just hit the market. Or hey, we just onboarded somebody that went to the same school as you. Excited for you guys to work together. Keep them informed of what's going on in your world. Hey, we got your office equipment in today. We're setting up your office. We're excited to see you. It's just a very simple check-in. How are you doing? We're excited to welcome you.
Do you as the recruiter, because the hiring managers aren't reliable in my opinion, do you as the recruiter make a list of things that, I'm going to check with Joe or Jenny this week on Wednesday to make sure she's had a contact with the candidate the new hire in the last week, and if she hasn't, I'm going to make a list of things that she can talk about. Or can you trust her to do it every week and come up with this stuff? How does it work?
Hi, I'm Cole Napper, host of Directionally Correct, the #1 people analytics podcast in the world. Come check out our podcast that dives deep into topics like people analytics, workforce planning, and talent intelligence, helping leaders across the globe navigate the future of work with insight and a little bit of fun.
I do trust, and I maybe am just super lucky to work for smart people, but I do trust my managers to be able to have that conversation. They're managers. They're leading a team. If they're not good at managing and directing and mentoring and leading people, they shouldn't be in the role. So I do trust them. I do have
Animal.
Go ahead, Jer. Go ahead.
Both Alan and Kathy have asked me to ask you to unmute Kathy's line.
619?
This is the kind of crap I deal with here behind the scenes, keeping this show going.
619. Is that Kathy? Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, and I've been dying.
Amy.
There's so many comments I'm wanting to make, and I've been sitting here silenced by you.
Yeah, well, you know what? I checked. The last time I checked, nobody was there. I did check. I checked.
No, you didn't.
Obviously you did. Just like you blew up my shout out at the beginning of the show. You were totally mismanaging the control panel.
Okay, she sent me a message on Twitter. Like, I look at that. Okay.
Like anybody looks at Twitter other than you.
I'm trying.
You know what? I got to do an ad. But I got to tell you, I listened to a great webinar, a really good one by Amy from a year or two ago. It was about hiring managers, and the way she had to deal with them, I would not have guessed that you could check them, trust them to do the right thing. That they've got on their mind instead of getting their products out the door and getting the work done, that they've got time to think about, how to keep the new hire excited about the job.
Let me just expand on that, Animal, because this is important, and I don't want people to lose sight of this. Okay, if you're a hiring manager, whatever your company is, whatever your technology is, whatever your product is, I don't care. If you are a company builder, you are responsible for bringing in people who are going to report to you. You damn well better know how to lead them. And if you don't, then maybe you should just go back to an individual contributor position.
Amy, you just fell off the turnip truck because every boss says our people are our greatest asset, and they don't care about that in practical life at all. Everybody knows it. Maybe it's the CEOs who are saying that and not the guys on the ground like you're talking about. I got to do an ad, okay? Alan, is it okay if I do an ad now?
Hey, it's your revenue. You got to pay Jerry $1 million.
I got to pay Jerry for his screw-ups on the intro. Michael G. Cox, how come you never say anything anymore? Okay, I'm going to go.
Hey,
everybody.
I'm on my mobile, and I don't want to insult.
Okay, great. He's muted. He mutes himself, Kathy, okay? I checked to see if you were there, and nobody was there, okay? Anyway. Hey, everybody. Recruiting Animal here for PC Recruiter. Some people think, and they're right, that recruiting is fragmented. Some people are doing IT. Some people are recruiting lumberjacks and tradespeople. Who knows, right? And you can't find can you find a software? People are saying, can I find a software that works for everyone? And some people will say, no. If you're doing this kind of recruiting, you need that kind of software. And these guys make software for, executive recruiting and other ones for staffing and some for direct hire. That's true generally, but not in the case of PC Recruiter. They are good for every kind of recruiting. And you know why? Because they are configurable. They are diverse. If you do any kind of recruiting, they can help you because their process is not fixed. They don't impose any kind of working process on you. You configure the software yourself. And if you don't know how to do it, they'll help you, okay? But the point I'm trying to make is their product is adaptable. It's custom-made kind of to fit you. It doesn't matter if you're working for a big team. It doesn't matter if you're working out of your own basement by yourself. Big or small, it fits them all. PC Recruiter loves you, so go check them out, please, at PCRecruiter.net. Thank you.
If I can speak on behalf of Martin for just a second, you really lost your enthusiasm. You were just kind of phoning that last part of that in. I wouldn't pay for that ad. You're like
almost like money out of your own.
Well, you're just saying
that your own mouth when you say that.
Just saying, just throwing it out
there. Out of your own mouth.
A frequent reminder: your sponsors deserve a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. Back to the show.
Hey, Anna.
No, I got a question. I got a question now that Jerry can actually chime in on to earn some of his pay. Brett Fag. There's a guy, Brett Fag. He said if you go to a career fair, the two essentials that a recruiter has to have are breath mints and hand sanitizer. And I was wondering if anybody it made sense to me. Jerry likes to go out and visit people. Do you make sure that you've got mints or a breath freshener when you meet people, Jerry?
Oh, always, absolutely.
Yeah. What brand?
Yeah, I'm a gum person, and then I spit it out. All the time.
Amy, do you meet many people? Is that a consideration for you, Amy?
Do I meet people?
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Maybe you're just on the phone. Maybe you don't have to, you know.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I mean, I keep Altoids in my purse. Does that count?
Love Altoids.
What is it?
When I do an interview kickoff, I'm in person. I'll pop an Altoid. Sure. Yeah. You want to show
your
Altoids.
Two Altoids at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Amy, I like your hair. Do you have any recommendations for shampoo or conditioner?
Where are we going here?
He's stressing me.
I think that's harassment.
At Walmart. That's my jam.
Yeah. We're talking about. These are just grooming tips, okay? That's not sexual harassment.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
You gotta look.
You're on a slippery slope here.
I feel very uncomfortable right now.
I took a selfie this morning, my preparation for the animal show, and no makeup, yoga pants. I'm ready.
Animal, if you get the chance, I'd really like to hear her take on offer declines.
Oh, okay. That's what she said she was coming here for.
I mean, we were going to talk about that. That was kind of my way back to the show. I promised I would admit
go
to
ahead.
my.
Thank you, Alan.
Right.
Thank you, Alan, for reminding
me. I'm
what the time is.
and I don't get to say one word.
Go ahead. No one's.
So the time has passed where there were topics that I was so excited about, and now it's going to go back in history. So I'll just listen.
No. Hold on, Kathy. Okay, let her talk about offer declines. What's your topic that you want to talk about, Kathy?
No, what she was talking about, which I found very relevant just recently for me, was the first go around in the rodeo, or whatever you say. How you put that, Amy?
Not my first rodeo.
Right, but you were telling like this new kid on the block. It was his first rodeo, right?
Yes.
So
okay.
Go ahead.
So
what do you want to ask
than that,
though.
I said I know it's the first time you're doing this as an industry, outside of school, and so let me help you.
I did that with my son's girlfriend, who was making $60K as a contractor at Lawrence Livermore. And so they wanted to bring her on full time, and she goes, "Oh, I'm going to ask for $120K." And I said, "Oh my God, you're going to price yourself out. Don't do that." I counseled her. I did all that stuff. What do you know? She gets offered $120K.
Wow.
So I know. I felt like an idiot. But on the other hand, then my son goes to interview for law school, and I said, "Okay, you better have some questions written down." "Oh, Mom, it's not that type of interview. Have questions written down." He walks in with his suit, and all they did was say, "Do you have any questions for us?" So he was so glad he had his questions done. My point being is it doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't matter what you're applying for. A good recruiter can counsel, a federal judge down to a student. And, again, like Amy said, it's not about, you knowing what's going on, exactly in the industry or you having that technical knowledge, but just how to glean information and present your best self. Period.
Okay. So are you telling us? We know that your husband's a judge of some sort. Are you telling us you can boss him around as well as your kid and his girlfriend?
Are you kidding? I could never win an argument with him.
What this girl? Okay, this young woman that said I'm going to ask for 120, and you told her not to. Did she actually go in and ask for a different figure, or did they just come up with their own offer?
You know what? I'm going to have to ask him. I told her that she should just say, "I feel I should get." What is I'm sorry, my words are losing me. What's standard in the industry for this position, and not put a number out there, but she got the number.
She knew, so she was smart. She knew you had egg on your face, but better safe than sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask Amy about offer declines now?
Of course.
Okay, Amy, the show is yours.
I know this has been a hot topic. The names escape me because I don't care, but there are recruiters out there who claim they never make offers that would not be accepted. So, virtual show of hands. Anybody want to take that perspective? Feel very strongly about that because we can go. I'm ready.
Oh God, no! I've had my heart broken on offers.
Yeah. It's hard, but here's the thing. So I mentioned earlier, talking about the candidate side, data is king. Data rules. So had a situation, this has also been a few years now, where I was attending regular leadership meetings, constantly talking about recruiting is very important to this team. They're doing a lot of hiring. And I go into a meeting thinking everything's cool, we've had a good run, and I get hit with, we're not seeing enough resumes. You're not doing enough for us. You, Amy, are failing at building our pipeline. And I said, whoa, hold on. What do you mean? I feel like we've actually increased and blah, blah, blah. So long story short, I feel, they feel, everybody's pissed. So I said, let me pull some data. So I go back and I pull all this data and I come back to them the next week and I say, okay, here we go. Looked at the entire pipeline. Here's the number of resumes you've actually seen. It's actually increased over the last 6 months.
Shuffling their papers while she's talking. Don't do it in the microphone, okay?
Animal work, man. People are starting to lose interest, man. I'm starting to think of my pregame for the World Cup match at 2.
Okay, you know what? Let me say hi to Sister Allison Cruz. I was going to say hi to Allison Cruz and Graham Caulfield, the expert resume man on Twitter, expert resume man, and Carla Porter, but then Jerry screwed up the shout, and I got totally derailed, okay? So, but this offer declined. What are you telling Amy? That she should get to the point? You shorten her story? Don't ramble? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe people don't care about offers being declined. Maybe it only happens to me.
But get to the point. Don't drag out the story, okay?
The point is, we looked at the entire data. We looked at the entire pipeline. We had a large number of profiles we were looking at. We had excellent conversion rates from submittal to tech screen to interview, even to offer. We were making a lot of offers, but a lot of those offers were being turned down. So why are those offers being turned down? There were 2 main reasons.
Yeah. Can we
job content? Please.
Was one of them job content?
Good guess.
And I wouldn't have any idea about the other one.
Yeah, it was compensation. And so, but that's not enough. That's not enough. So we can't just say, oh gosh, we don't pay enough. That's not enough because we pay very well and we pay a lot and all that. Every single person who had turned us down was both coming from and going to a major competitor. So I said it's very simple. You have 2 choices. We can look at different kinds of candidates. We can look at less seniority, smaller companies. They won't have the big scale experience, those kinds of things, but you're more likely to close them. Or you can get out of your comfort zone in trying to put people in lower levels than they're expecting, less competitive offers than they're getting elsewhere. So you have to kind of decide, how do you want to play? Do you want to play in the big leagues? Do you want to swing at the World Series pitchers? Or do you want to go back to the minors? You pick, but don't come at me with this, I don't see enough resume stuff, because that is not true.
Oh, so these losers, okay, I'm going to call them that, who you were praising before, they don't want to take responsibility for their own screw-ups. The first thing they say, I'm not getting enough resumes. I don't have any hires. There's not enough resumes. Amy's not doing her job. There were stupid recruiters not servicing me properly. Okay? And you have to be prepared to challenge these people and take them on and say, where's the evidence?
And you know what happened?
What happened?
Here's the rest of the story. I don't work with this team anymore, but here's the rest of the story. I show them this data. I ask them the question, how do you want to proceed? Here are your options. We cannot play in this league anymore, and we can make more hires, or we can continue to play in this league, adapt and adjust where we can, and get ready for declines. They said, you know what? We'd rather get turned down than change our scope and change the kind of people we know we need. We will gladly accept the turn downs. We will take that data. We will use that to make the argument to increase compensation, to pay more, to change leveling. We'll use that data that you're gathering every time someone tells us no, and we're going to make this team stronger, better, faster. And you know what? A year and a half later, the recruiters that work with them now are doing the same thing. They love it, and they still call me and tell me what a great job I did, and they're glad that I brought them to this level. You can ask the recruiters that are on the team now.
So what do you call this? Evidence-based recruiting or evidence-based
consulting,
challenges to
doing
the hiring
my job,
managers? What?
Yeah, absolutely. It's evidence-based consulting. It's here are the facts. Here is my recommendation. You get to decide. You're the one that's leading your team. You're the one that's building your piece of this business. But here's the facts, and here's my recommendations on a couple things we can do. Ultimately, they decide which way they want to go.
Alan Floor, did she? You asked for this conversation. Did she answer your question, or is there any questions you have in addition to what
that was a great example, and she's right.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're a recruiter, and I have these conversations with them outside of my company all the time. Well, my company won't pay enough, or my client is lowballing candidates. Well, why not? Because you don't make offers that don't get accepted. They have no reason to think that their offer is not going to get accepted because you haven't shown them that. They haven't felt the pain. So let them lose a few. Let them see why they're losing a few, and then they can decide, do you want to play in the big leagues or not? Because if you do, get it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to send out an.
Amy, Jerry is always saying, don't be confrontational with the client. Okay, that's what Recruiting Animal does wrong. Okay, he talks people into a corner. Okay?
No, but you need to have your facts, Animal. I used to send out an Excel spreadsheet that showed, number of people that applied, how many people got the interviews, why didn't they accept the offer. And it was in black and white in front of them, which was very powerful for them to look at on their screen. And it's exactly what Amy does. And it does eventually change their mind.
And they need that because they forget all the resumes that are coming across their transom. And while you may have sent them 12, they may only be remembering 4 or 5. And once you show it to them and you show them, look, here's where we're losing.
It's not an offer decline, but I had one that we were not converting interview loops. We had like a 7% conversion rate where out of all the people that we had interviewed, only 7% we decided to offer. So I said, okay,
you guys have screwed me up
here.
I got to do an ad. Hold on. We'll come back to this. Wait a sec. I think Michael G. Cox wants to say something. Hey, everybody. Recruiting Animal here for Hone It. And you know what? Jerry went after me for the last ad. Said it wasn't good enough. This one's a little late. I what can I do? But I'm going to charge him for it anyway. Hone It, Honeit. Okay? And not only that, I'm going to do it the way I like to do it. Nick is always sending me, do it this way. I like the way I do it. Hone It is interview technology, online interview technology. The candidate and the interviewer, they just pick up the phone, call a number into the interview. It's a normal interview, right? But it's supercharged, actually. It's not normal at all. It's recorded, so you've got a recording of it. You don't have to worry, what was that word he said? I didn't catch that. No, you don't have to do that anymore. And not only that, the recording is immediately turned into a transcript, a text transcript. You can search it for keywords. It's easy to pass these things around to other people on the interview committee. They don't have to go back and bug the candidate with the exact same questions. And if there's a key question or more than one, when you ask the question just before, you press a button. And then at the end of that part of the conversation, you press a button again. You get a clip that you can send to anybody on the hiring team. Hey, this is a key issue. You don't have to listen to the whole interview. You don't have to read the whole thing. Here it is. You can hear the candidate in his or her own words tell you about it. So it makes it a lot easier. I know Jerry thought of this idea a long time ago, okay? He had his own version of this. It was a little different, though. And anyway, but you derailed me a bit, Jerry. So the key thing is you don't have to worry about
what do you derailed you? I was chiming in, man. I'm your partner here.
Thank you.
Derailed is like that's.
Yes.
The
derailed. Amy got me with this derailed thing. She said I derail, okay? But anyway, you don't have to worry about catching every word, about typing really fast, about writing really fast. Hone It, Honeit, does it for you. So go to honeit.com, talk to Nick Livingston. He's a great guy. Thank you. Geez, I don't know. It went so fast. We're almost out of time. Do we have?
Crazy.
I think Michael G. Cox wanted to say something about declines. I might have been wrong, but I thought I heard his deep voice in the background.
Yes, I think we hear a lot of folks talking about how they don't have any declines because they test the offer first, And that may look good in one stat, but what's happening is we're holding back the pain from or the discomfort from our hiring managers, and they get it in their head that, well, nobody's declined us, so everything must be fine. And the problem with that is 5 years down the road, you're still getting 100% accept rate, but you're having to talk to 10 times as many people, and your candidate quality has gone down because all the good candidates that you'd really like to have are not interested in your offer, but information isn't being relayed to your hiring managers.
Folks, we live in a crazy world, and with each new headline, it is harder and harder to find the signal through the noise and understand if that annoying wannabe keyboard warrior in your office is actually a national security expert or just blowing smoke. Do you want to know the truth? Well, come join us on the At the Water's Edge podcast, hosted by retired Green Beret turned geopolitical analyst Scott Kelly, where we explore insights beyond the headlines to take a practitioner's view on national security and geopolitics. Join us at the At the Water's Edge podcast.
But you could relate that information. You could say, look, I had to talk to this guy and it didn't work out, right? I mean, I don't get your point, Mike.
But what he's saying is that if a recruiter's not willing to own that, hey, 7 people did say no before I got one person to say yes because they're arrogant and say, oh, I never make an offer that doesn't get accepted, that's silly, first of all. And secondly, you're not giving the proper information and consultation to your hiring team.
And back to Amy's point, data is king. If you can show them that how many people you're reaching out to and not getting success, the leaders need to know that.
Who's this? Kendra?
Hi, it's Linda. Linda Warren. Hi, Amy.
Linda. Hi, Linda. Linda and I work together. She knows me very, very well.
Okay. So go ahead, Linda. First time on the show? Yeah, I don't.
No, I've been here before. I just haven't commented.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Not really. Other than, leaders need to know what's going on.
I don't like the term leaders. These are so-called leaders, okay?
That's what they call them in my organization. I've been brainwashed to call them leaders, even when they're not.
What do you want us to know about leaders? Sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
They need to know what's going on. It's too easy to blame recruitment of why there's not hires. And it's too easy to just point fingers. And when the data is presented back to them of how many candidates, all the information they want to know, it's usually shown that it falls back sometimes often on them, not on recruitment.
Okay, and these people can accept that? They can say, oh, Amy, oh, Linda, oh, Alan, oh, Kathy, I was wrong. Oh, it's me, not you.
Yes. If you have the numbers to back you up, absolutely.
And many times they still want to tell that story, but when that same story gets escalated to senior leadership and they see that this data has been presented to those other leaders, quite often that's a big different conversation that starts ending up happening with those leaders.
And especially when
we actually ended up with the ones where I wasn't able to convert interviews to offers. We ended up moving some things around and had different interview slates for that team because that was a conversation I had to have with a higher up in that organization. Like, here's where we're seeing significant drop-off. Here's what the feedback looks like. Here's where I think we're getting it wrong. And we actually shifted the way we hired for that team and changed that data.
Okay, Alan?
I just wanted to ask I forgot her name, if
Linda.
You've never come across a situation where somebody in between that conversation has tried to, quote, massage the data, hoping that the general report would look better than it really does, and then the conversations really get interesting.
I haven't had anyone who's tried to massage the data. It's always been trickled up from what was presented.
Call me sometime.
Okay. Yeah, he call you. He's such a good listener, he couldn't remember your name from 1 minute to the next.
I'm sorry, I'm writing two offer letters as we're talking.
Early in my career, no joke.
Kathy Manis, since I neglect you so much, you get the last word. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No. Kendra gets to say hi.
Hey! Hey, Kendra Sadler. Anything you want to say to Amy or anybody? You chew anybody out?
No, she's living my pain here at Big Telcom.
She's living your pain. I would have liked to hear about that pain. It sounds, is that 50 Shades of Grey or something like that?
No, hiring managers and data.
Okay, well, now you've got the path. You've got the roadmap for confronting these people, Kendra. Hold on, Kendra.
I will. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
Good show.
You bet.
Kendra,
Thank you.
will they accept feedback? I don't think so. Everybody's saying, yeah, sure. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. Amy, Alan, Jerry, Kathy, Linda, Kendra, thank you! Where's the fuck? Trouble.
Little dog, I know why you're crying tonight. 'Cause you just ain't feeling right. I know just how you feel. Oh, little dog, she left you and me, and now we're all gone living an hour.